Welcome to the video series On the Docket with Dori. Today, I'll be interviewing Elizabeth Clark Tarbert, ethics counsel for the Florida Bar for the past 23 years. So you've been ethics counsel for the Florida Bar for quite a while. Where can Florida Bar members go if they have ethics and advertising questions?
Well, the first place, of course, is they can call our ethics hotline. It's 1-800-235-8619. It's one of the first of its kind in the nation, and we staff it between the hours of 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Another place members can go is to our website, www.floridabar.org/ethics. That will take you to the ethics page. Our formal advisory opinions are there, articles that have been written on ethics topics, information about how to research an ethics question, and other helpful resources can be found there as well. Members can also email us their questions to eto@flabar.org.
So we're in a really unusual time in our practice, and I would like to know, what are the most frequently asked ethics questions that you've been receiving during the COVID-19 pandemic?
So there are lots of lawyers, like everyone else in the world, who are trying to now practice remotely and do their jobs remotely. So a lot of lawyers have questions about things like, is it okay if I tell my clients I'm only going to communicate with them by phone or by email? There are questions about whether or not lawyers actually have to personally attend depositions or mediations when a client wants them to, as opposed to attending them remotely. We've gotten questions about lawyers who have been asked to hold funds in their trust account to help with a transaction for PPE. We've gotten a lot of those. And honestly, I think one of the things that has happened with this pandemic is we get a lot of the same questions. They've just been accelerated. So, you know, there are a lot of things happening with different changes in firm composition with the virus, when people decide they're not going to go back to work, or there's not as much work to go around, or someone is trying to open a new practice area in their law firm. And there are lots of questions as well about CLE, like what am I going to do about my CLE cycle? Just about anything you can imagine.
So just with regard to the questions about practicing remotely, have you been able to provide any opinions about the lawyer's ability to practice remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes, of course, you know, we're not going to tell a lawyer that they have an obligation to show up in person. There is an obligation, obviously, to practice diligently and competently and to communicate with your client, but the rules don't dictate the method by which that communication is going to occur. So if a lawyer can adequately communicate information the client needs by email, by text, by telephone, by Skype, it's perfectly fine for the lawyer to do that. Similarly, if you can adequately handle a deposition or a mediation by Zoom or by some other electronic means, I'm not going to tell you you actually have to attend in person and risk you and your family's health. On the other hand, I will say, if a court is requiring in-person attendance, I can't do much about that. The lawyer's going to have to take that up with the individual judge.
Okay, so we're talking about COVID-19, and you know how I feel about health and wellness of Florida Bar members. And that's really been one of my top priorities over the last few years. Do you have any health and wellness tips of your own that you could share with our members?
Sure, Dori. One of the things that has been really helpful to me is my family holds a weekly Zoom meeting every Sunday night. So I get to talk to my parents, my sister, my nieces and nephews, my son. We all get to see each other, know that we're all doing okay. That is a tremendous stress reliever for me. The other thing is I really enjoy spending time with my adopted furry little young men.
Your pets?
Yes.
Not your son.
Yeah, my two dogs.
And that's only because most of the 18 and 19-year-olds boys are refusing to shave during the pandemic. So I wanted to make sure you're talking about your pets, not your son.
Well, it is I could say that about my son and my nephews, but it really is actually my dogs.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate your taking a few minutes out of your day and helping for me to educate the folks at the members of the Florida Bar. And I know that you're on the job, and I appreciate your being on the docket. Thank you.
Thank you, Dori.